Whew, I'm live, everybody. Hi, online. Just want to tell you that I'm here. I just finished welcoming our beautiful audience who is live in the room. We have I just read the feed, someone's watching Ancient Aliens Marathon. I love that. What a fitting thing to be watching right now. I feel like an ancient alien sometimes. That's very appropriate. Welcome to our June full moon ritual. I'm so excited to have you here with me. We're honoring Shiva and Shakti tonight, and I'm going to talk to you about what that means. I'm going to talk to you about the fact that it's a full moon in Sagittarius. In case you don't know what Shiva and Shakti look like, this is how my team interpreted Shiva and Shakti in art, which I love. You know, one of the things that's really important for me when we talk about the goddesses is you need to be able to find yourself in her. You know what I mean? And so there's lots of images of Shakti that are so inaccessible to me. I can't find myself. I wanted her to be a woman resting in her power, because that to me is what Shakti is at the end of the day. She doesn't have anything to prove. And as a woman in my 40s, this really resonates with me, because I'm at the age now where, you know, I hope you like me, but I don't really care if you do. I'm sorry, but honestly, I'm so not concerned with people's opinions of me or what I do. And so there's a little bit of me in this, in the sense that I am a little bit like, I am who I am. And I think as we step into those, and for some women it happens in their 30s. It didn't happen for me in my 30s. Did it happen for you in your 30s where you're like, who cares? Rock on, sister over there who says it did. I think that's a beautiful thing. At some point you do stop caring so much. And not because you don't want to be in integrity, but because other people's opinions of you should not be part of your own personal narrative. You know, what people think of you is not your business. It's just not your business. I mean, given what I do, I hear a lot more of what people think about me than you might. But even so, I mean, and I'm very blessed because most people are very kind, but I will tell you, you're the only one who has to live out the karmic consequences of your actions. I don't have to. So I try to teach you things and kind of send you on your way and wish you well, but at the end of the day, people can judge you all they want. This is a path that you walk alone. You're surrounded by guides and helpers, and there's a whole room full of them right now. And so I think the biggest gift we can give each other, and I was telling people in the room, next month we're working with Jesus and Mary by request. People have been asking me for 2 years if we can work with Jesus and Mary, so we're finally doing it. And the reason is there's such a need for divine compassion in our world right now. We have none of it. I feel like we have none of it. And whatever we had seems to be, you know, 2 sheets to the wind right now, at least as far as we can see. So what I want to do is I want to anchor us in that, but I want to start with Shakti tonight, okay? I'll say briefly first, we have a full moon in Sagittarius. I'm super excited about it because that's my moon placement in my natal chart by Western astrology. And a full moon in Sagittarius is going to feel like you don't want to be indoors. You want to be outside, you want to play, you want to have your feet in the dirt and your hands toward the sky. And Sagittarius energy is very playful. It's about being outdoors, it's about being connected to nature, and it's about freedom without boundaries. Sagittarius people, boundaries make us break out in hives. The minute you tell me I can't do something, what's the only thing I want to do? Sagittarius people are like 5-year-olds, kind of, where it's like, all right, go ahead and tell me I can't do that. Watch how fast I do it. We end up with a lot of karmic baggage because of that, okay, because it's a constant I'll show you until we evolve into I'll show me, okay? So that's the energy around full moon and Sag. I was feeling it extra strong today, I think, because of my placement, but I just want to be outside today. Like, I'm even mad that I have to be indoors right now. We should be outside at the beach somewhere. We have to work with internet, so we can't do that, but okay. Shiva and Shakti. How many of you feel like you have a really good working intimate knowledge of Shiva and Shakti? You guys online too. Intimate awareness. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a little bit tonight. Obviously, I could teach you for days. We could do a whole retreat on Shakti alone, right? I mean, we could do a week-long retreat where we really dove into this. So it's going to be short and sweet tonight, but enough for you to get into it and connect, okay? This is Athena's take on Shiva and Shakti, by the way. So you'll read 100 sources and you'll hear 100 different narratives of how to work with their energy, okay? So if you want to take notes, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. Shiva and Shakti are 2 parts of a whole, which is why we're working with them together. You almost can't talk about Shiva without Shakti, and you almost can't talk about Shakti without Shiva. Think of it as the tightest married couple you know, okay? That's a good way of thinking about Shiva and Shakti. I have that kind of a marriage in my life. If you don't, imagine the kind of relationship where it's a true union of equals. But there's a complementarity. Do you know what I mean? I can't and I don't and I won't do the things that my husband does. And he can't and he won't and he doesn't do the things that I do. We meet each other exactly halfway. I've been with him almost 20 years, so that now is an intuitive dance that we do. It had to be learned, okay, by struggle, right? Because, I mean, I don't think any good marriage comes because you signed a piece of paper and it all just worked out happy ever after. I think a good marriage is because you fought and you struggled and now you have an awareness and understanding and a deep respect that carried you through all of that. Everything I'm telling you right now to me is Shiva and Shakti, okay? And if you don't have that and you want it, tonight would be a really good night for you to set that intention, okay? If you want that kind of divine union where the masculine meets your feminine halfway, where the feminine meets your masculine halfway, and by the way, you deserve that, that's your birthright. You deserve that in your life. That's your birthright. So I want you to close your eyes while I talk to you about all this, because when you shut one of your senses down, the others expand. Have you noticed that? So when you're learning, to the extent that you can, always shut your eyes. You'll hear differently. So Shiva, I want you to think of Shiva. Let me show you Shiva again. I'm a visual learner, so I like to sort of have this to show you. When you think of Shiva, by the way, these are a Hindu duo. This is a Hindu god and goddess. There are people who actually think of them as being one and the same. I'm talking about them separately tonight because I want you to anchor into the different streams, the divine masculine, divine feminine. When you think of Shiva, I want you to think of pure consciousness and what is unchanging, what has always been and what will always be. That's Shiva energy, okay? Pure consciousness. What Shakti does is she activates pure consciousness. It gave me chills to tell you that, okay? Think of Shiva as a blank screen onto which Shakti's beauty is a projection, okay? He is the screen onto which she can move, right? Through which you can see her. You can't see Shakti except through Shiva. Now again, I think in Western culture we might look and say, well, she doesn't need him, and she can project her own screen or whatever. Our ancient models of masculine and feminine don't allow for that kind of a perspective, and I'm sorry to say that. But I'm not saying I'm not a feminist, by the way, but I'm saying when we go back to the ancient narratives, feminine and masculine, and I'm not talking men and women, I'm talking energy streams, okay? Because lesbians do this, gay men do this, our transgender community does this. You do not need male, female. But you do need the integration of masculine and feminine. There is no one without the other. Does that make sense? Okay. Shakti energy is the activated maternal principle. She is the activation of the mother. And so we're going to talk next month about how Mary is actually connected to Shakti, at least in my view, where Mary becomes the full vision of compassion born out of Shakti's energies of creation. Does that make sense? So out of Shakti comes the purest of heart that is manifest then in Mary. And Shakti is not pure sacrifice, but Mary is, right? Mary is pure sacrifice. When the angel came to Mary and said, this child will come through you, what did Mary do? She said yes. She surrendered. There wasn't I don't know, this isn't the right time, what's going to happen to my body, I don't really have a house. Right? What about my savings, my 401k, I'm going to have to take, Yes. But imagine what it takes to surrender in that way, right? Where the divine speaks to you and it's an instant yes. It's an instant yes. Now, how many of you, there's a divine speaking to you and you're like, well, how about September? And the divine is saying, I want to create through you. And you're like, well, not right now. And then a year later you go, I don't know why the divine isn't speaking to me. That's because you told the divine where to go. The divine whispers to you, and then it gives you a break, and then it pushes you, and then it gives you a break, and then it slaps you a little bit, and it gives you a break, and then it knocks you a little bit, and it gives you a break, and then you get sick. And that's all illness is your inability to hear the divine. I'm going to take a breath there. That's kind of a profound thing that just came out of my mouth right there. Okay, when you have Shiva plus Shakti, you have power, movement, and creation. The one is not powerful without the other. You have to have both because the combination of them The mantra I want you to hear tonight is energy cannot create without consciousness. So a lot of you are trying to create things, and I'm really talking seriously to you right now, because a lot of you will say, well, I'm not manifesting, and I don't know why, and I lit the candle, and I poured that oil all over my altar, and I said that mantra 108 times with my mala, and shit, it's not happening for me. And that's because you've got the Shiva without the Shakti. Shiva is pure consciousness. It's a map. You can map things onto it, but you have to have that activation piece, or it's just empty. You know? And so a lot of you, here's what's interesting about women, I think. This is all related to where we're going tonight. Heather's like guilty in the feed, right? We're all guilty of this, by the way. I'm not judging because I've been there. And I think a lot of us have really struggled to activate. And people come to me and they're like, well, I want to activate my DNA, or I want to activate my energy field, or I want to activate. And it's like, okay, it's really easy. You have to integrate both the masculine and the feminine. One cannot create without the other. Okay, Shiva is the crown chakra. What do you think Shakti is? Muladhara. She's the root. She's not the sacral. Now, is she a little bit of a sex kitten? She sure is. She's shaking what her mama gave her. But you know that the sexiest energy you can summon, truly, and I'm talking about like pure energy of sexual power, is actually in the root chakra. It's not the sacral. And that's the big mistake, actually, that I think a lot of us as empaths make, because not only is that where your sexual energy really happens, because how good is sex when you don't feel safe? Real shitty, right? So unless you feel anchored, unless you feel like you're held, which is all root chakra, right? And by the way, what do you think happens when there's trauma? Root chakra is closed for business. And so it doesn't matter if your sacral is wide open, if your root chakra is closed. It's almost, and how would a partner penetrate that? I mean, if you've had trauma and it's anchored in your root chakra and you haven't healed it, and a partner comes along and you're thinking, this is the perfect person, why isn't it happening? How would they possibly get through that? You're asking them to pass a roadblock like there's a car parked in the middle of the street they can't go around, right? And yet people wonder. And so I'm trying to I'm coming to you with a little bit of a reality check tonight with Shakti, because if you want to unblock this tonight, it can happen for you. But it's a choice that you have to make. Just like the weight loss class I taught before this, it's going to have to be a choice that you make, because it's not easy. Anybody who tells you any of this stuff is easy is lying to you. It's not easy. So what do you think happens when you activate Shiva and Shakti energy at the root and the crown? What happens when you open the top and the bottom chakra? What happens to the rest of them? You become a channel, a clear and open channel. So these may be, and I don't want to diminish the power of Jesus and Mary, because I think they're hugely important. Even if you don't believe in Jesus, the narrative, they're archetypes, right? So you can work with those energy streams. That's why I'm not proselytizing to you or saying you have to believe in anything. But I will say, these might be the two most important deities that we work with this whole year, because if you can activate the root and the crown with their help, all the other energy centers just unzip. You don't even have to do any work. It's pretty powerful stuff. And if you think this isn't related to the weight loss discussion that we just had, you're wrong, because it's absolutely where that anchors. Okay. In Sanskrit, Shakti comes from the word shak, which means to be able. I think that's a really bad translation. Okay? The problem with Sanskrit is it's just like a lot of languages where what happens when you translate it to English? It's like awful. I bet it's not to be able. I bet it's more like all possibility. Right? I mean, that sounds a little more like all Shakti is this huge potential that just needs the screen upon which to be projected so that you can see it. What happens to a woman who's really loved? Right? Okay. Maybe I speak from experience. What happens to a woman who's not loved? Okay. And you can see it. It's really, in some ways, it's exciting to me and it's sad to me because I watch people. I'm a people watcher, and I watch people age. And I watch people who feel deeply loved in their life age, and I watch people who feel deeply unloved in their life age. And I don't even think DNA is a factor. I don't think, however good your genes are, if you don't feel deeply loved, and it begins with you first. Mm-hmm. If you don't feel, if you can't, and look, here's another reality check. A lot of us have autoimmune diseases. A lot of empaths have them. I have 3 of them. I'm very blessed. I have so many autoimmune diseases to choose from. They're all in remission, and I do a lot of work around them, but they're mine too. They're my cross to bear. Why do you think we have those? Why is our immune system attacking us? Because who cares what other people think of you if you don't love yourself? I mean, a lot of us really do believe there's something wrong with us. We were told that as kids. Yeah? There's something wrong with you. You're different. You don't fit in. They don't want to be your friends. Right? And then now here you are at 45. You've got all this weird stuff happening with your thyroid and with your central nervous system. And it's like, you don't think that's related to you as a little one being told there's something wrong, you're different, they don't want you, you're not accepted, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you all this because this is Shakti. Shakti comes in to say, you are exactly where you need to be. You are divinely beautiful and powerful. I love you with all my heart. There isn't anything that you can do that would make me stop loving you. And you are a complete and pure echo of my divinity. That's Shakti. And so if you can tap into this tonight, I don't want to overstate the importance of it, but I don't want to understate it either. This can shift everything for you, right down to how your central nervous system functions in your body. It's a crazy thing, you guys. Like, part of me really wants to, and that's why I was teaching this class earlier today, I think we're on the edge of a revolution. Do you know? And it's funny because as we rise, it's almost like our government and everything is echoing back to us a lack of tolerance, and that's okay. We just keep showing up. We just keep showing up. Because at some point you won't be able to deny this tidal wave of transformation that's happening in our communities. It is not nothing. And we can be the change. It has to start with us. Okay, we're going to work with a mantra tonight after our meditation, Adi Shakti. Can you say that? Adi Shakti. Say it again, Adi Shakti. Adi Shakti. Adi Shakti. Beautiful, you guys. So Adi Shakti means, in Sanskrit, first primal power. Adi Shakti. Then we can actually add Namo Namo. Namo Namo. Adi Shakti Namo Namo. It might sound weird to you to say it, but it's Sanskrit, it's a holy language, don't be embarrassed. Adi Shakti Namo Namo. Which means I bow to my own primal power. How good is that, yeah? So if you're down for it, I actually would like to do a full mala recitation of that mantra at the end of tonight. When you speak a mantra, some of them have their malas already ready. When you speak a mantra 108 times, it fills every energy center in your body, and it automatically forces an alignment in your soul. It's one of the most healing things that you can do. Has anybody, other than my students, recited a mantra 108 times? Okay, good for you. So you already know the healing power of that. Wait till you hear it in a room. So good. So you guys ready? This is where we're going tonight. Yeah? Sound good to you? Okay. So we are working with Shiva and Shakti candles. I want you to anoint with your oils. So Shiva is holy basil, tulsi, one of the most, and these are essential oils, by the way, in here. I hope you liked it. It's a little medicinal smelling, but I wanted you to have the things. So this may not be your favorite perfume, but it has the essence. So it has tulsi, which is holy basil, ginger, and pure sandalwood from India. And then your Shakti, I'm just wearing the combination of them. If you haven't played with the combination, you're missing out. Shakti is elemi, which is a crown chakra oil, lily of the valley. And there's other notes in there. There's a cypress to kind of drop it down. So I'm going to pass these around just in case if you don't have them, I want you to be able to experience the duo together. The crystals that you're working with tonight for Shakti are your red jasper and your black obsidian, because she's root, right? So we had to sort of anchor those stones in the root. You have some crazy rare stones that you're working with. Did you love these? Pink lepidolite and tanzanite for Shiva. This was really, really special. A piece of tanzanite this size wholesales for about $40. And we got this in Tucson specifically for your set. So we would never be able to replicate this for you. But I really wanted you to have, did you know tanzanite is rarer than diamond? And actually tanzanite, it's a fascinating story. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with you, but you can do your own research. Tanzanite comes from the African continent, as does sugilite. And there's actually a whole group of healers in Africa who believe that diseases that are native to Africa, like HIV and AIDS, can actually be cured with stones that are native to Africa, like sugilite and tanzanite. And people are working, crystal healers are working. There's actually a whole theory that any disease that develops on a continent can actually be treated and healed with the crystals that also grow on that continent. Does that make sense to you? And it makes sense that nature would provide its own medicine, doesn't it? I mean, and I think the same things of our plant medicines and plant teachers as well. Any questions about tools? Okay, cool. And you can burn both of your herb bundles as an incense if you would like to. Okay, so I'm going to smudge just one time before we start. I want to call your energy into present time. Tonight will be deep, so be mindful. Be kind and gentle to yourself as we enter into this work together. The big key to working with Shiva and Shakti, there's two big keys, I would say, in my experience, having worked with these deities for a long time. The first is reverence. You're coming with an open and reverent heart, because these are powerful deities that you are encountering. And the other is a complete and total acceptance of where you are right now in this moment with no judgment. It's okay. You walked a long road. I mean, literally to this moment. If you can be in a place of complete forgiveness of yourself for anything and everything that has happened to you and that you have done, all the way leading to this moment right now where you are, it's a really beautiful blank canvas for Shiva to work with. Yeah, can you do that for just for the next 40 minutes or so? Okay. So good. Okay, so I'm going to just use my selenite wand to open a beautiful circle. We use selenite because it's clearing, and because selenite is a very powerful tool actually for opening sacred space, a very important tool for that purpose. And just roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time. Anything that's bothering you, just let it go. Anything that you're thinking about that's distracting you from this moment right now, just imagine popping it in a bubble, make it a beautiful pink bubble, and just set it off like a balloon up to the sky. Bye. Bring your energy totally into the present moment. And then put your hands on your knees with your palms facing up in a nice receptive position. We're going to quickly open our circle tonight. I want you to imagine that out of your left hand extends a beautiful beam of white light, about 4 to 6 inches in diameter, enough to fill your hand. A beautiful beam of divine, pure light, pure consciousness, Shiva energy. And I want you to imagine sending that beam of light out of your left hand into the right hand of the person who's next to you in the circle, virtually or in person. And imagine that energy beam moving through their body, through their energy centers, out of their left hand to the right hand of the person who's seated next to them. And in that way, this beam of light connecting us extends all the way around our circle tonight, across continents and oceans, and will return to you in your right hand. When it does, your palms should feel nice and warm. And that's just a sign to you that you're anchoring that energy. And I'm going to read my directional invocation, which I always read, so just close your eyes and enjoy. I'm going to read my solstice invocation to you because this is I won't see you again until solstice time, so and that's going to be virtual. So this is my kind of an offering to you for summer solstice as well. Between day and night, we gather and seek the wisdom of the elders, the ancients, the guides, the ancestors, and humbly in their presence, we seek the knowledge we are ready to integrate. For now is the time, and we are promised to know tomorrows. This is the hour of magic, and now is the moment of possibility. Gatekeepers of the 4 directions, we thank you for turning your gaze toward us this evening. We honor your sacred presence and thank you, for you are welcome here. I call first to the direction of east, element of air, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, this is for you, and the ones who breathe new life into being. Element of air, move us tonight and guide us toward the golden dawn of new possibility, where our souls take flight and our wings expand, every cell of our bodies aligning with infinite potential tonight, and we manifest our soul's true calling. Brother Eagle, spirit totem animal of the east, teach us to soar upon your mighty wings. Here in the east, we rise to meet a greater purpose. Someone in the feed just said Jesus lives. He sure does, and we're gonna greet him next month. I'm looking forward to that. Here in the east, we rise to meet a greater purpose, a louder calling, a deeper understanding, and we ascend without fear, knowing that our wings are strong, the air is smooth, our flight is assured, our movements are guided, and we never fly alone. Winds of the east, air elementals, guardian spirits, and all who reside in the eastern quadrant, hear our prayer for safe new beginnings tonight. I call to the direction of south, element of fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and those who are brave enough to engage the energies before them. Fire, move us and guide us toward the release of anything we no longer need. Allow us to burn clean through the old beliefs. This is big for us tonight, burning clean through the old beliefs. Fears, hesitations, anxieties, challenges, and reveal a new face of the future, one in which we find and embrace our full power. Brother Coyote, spirit totem of the south, teach us to move with agility and speed, acknowledging the playful aspects of our lives. Here in the south, we let everything be transformed, transmuted, cleaned, cleared away. Nothing is ours forever. And the clarity that comes from destruction is the greatest gift we are given once we let the fear go. What is burned away was never yours to have in the first place. Fires of the south, fire elementals, guardian spirits, and all who reside in the southern quadrant, hear our prayer for clearing tonight and help us receive the new and shed the old with grace. I call to the direction of west, element of water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, those who swim bravely against mighty waves. Water, move us, flowing with us toward a complete reconnection with all of our emotions tonight, the love, the rage, the peace, the anger, the passion, the fury. Teach us to allow all things, resisting nothing, flowing downstream, easy, like your fish and your sea creatures. Show us the way. Here in the west, we are in a state of non-resistance to growth, and all that we released in the south washes away clean with her waves. We watch it all flow away from us, knowing that in its place, our greatest dreams and joys are already flowing toward us. Hope rests in the deepest waters. Waves of the south, water elementals, guardian spirits, and all who reside in the western quadrant, hear our prayer for emotional healing tonight. Help us allow what must come and what must go with no resistance based in fear. I call to the direction of north, element of earth, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, those who anchor us in what is true. Element of earth, ground us tonight, catch us in your deep roots, and embrace us in your tree limbs. Nurture us in your mossy womb, and connect us with all that has ever been. Here where you are, we will all one day return, bone to bone, dust to dust. You, our ancestors, await our return. Here in the north, we know we are safe, loved, held, nurtured, supported, encouraged. We are part of a much larger matrix of energy that surpasses all mortal understanding. We are part of your great web, Gaia, and we surrender to the path that you have carved through us, through the dark of your forests. Let us take rest in your sanctuary tonight, for in the north, all knowledge of all time is ours to discover. Tree spirits of the north, earth elementals, guardian spirits, and all who reside in the northern quadrant, help us to rest more deeply and trust in our own power, our beauty, safety, security, and wisdom. Remind us how small we are, earth, how vast you are, and how many blessings exist in the space between us. My wish for you tonight, as it always is, with so much love, is that the delicate and precious balance of these elements will make itself known to you tonight in all ways. And so together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. Did you love it? That's one of my favorite ones, you guys. Thank you for letting me share that with you. And that's available to you. I share all of these in our group, so if you would like to have that and print it out for your own summer solstice ritual, which I think would be really cool. And what's nice about that, it's actually a huge honor to me when you guys do that, because it connects us. So when you read that at your ritual, you're activating this potential. You know what I mean? So I actually, whereas some people get weird about sharing what they've written, I actually think the more we speak each other's words, how beautiful that is. So anyway, I take that as a huge compliment. I also want to make a little shout out. How cute is this? I just want to tell you, because I have kids, and I just love when kids join us. There's actually a 6-year-old, I think, who's joining us tonight. Can I give a little shout out? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I'm going to find you. That's right. Lori Young, her 6-year-old son, Michael, is with us. Hi, Michael. I hope I'm not embarrassing you, Michael. My kids get embarrassed when I do that. But I just want to say hi, and I'm really glad that you're with us tonight. Thank you so, so much. And thank you, Lori, for starting them young, girl. The younger ones are way more magical than we are. Okay, they haven't learned to be afraid yet. Okay, so I want you to go back to that nice receptive position, shoulders roll back, hands on your knees, palms facing up. So I want you to imagine tonight a beautiful river flowing, because to me, Shiva and Shakti are very much about the water element to me, because together they create this incredibly divine flow between them. And since water is the element of creation, of emotional connection, of healing, water can take from us what we can no longer carry anymore. It washes us clean. Fire does that too. Fire burns clean, but water is a more gentle way of releasing. So I want you to imagine a beautiful river in your mind, maybe one that you've been to before. But I want you to imagine that that river forks and leads now in two directions. And so to the right, we have this beautiful river flowing that represents the goddess Shakti. And to the left, we have this powerful river flowing that represents the god Shiva. And so guides and guardian spirits and Shiva and Shakti, as we approach you tonight with so much reverence, I ask that you take up space in these rivers for us tonight. Help us to experience you, to connect to your energies this evening. Shakti, help us to know you in this right flowing river, this maternal flow that we want to connect to with you. And Shiva, help us to know you through this left flowing river, your direct energies of pure consciousness and the ultimate potential that exists with you, that is only lacking our ability to project onto that potential and to rise in knowing that we are loved and seen. So we're going to move down the right river first to connect with Shakti this evening. So I want you can imagine that you're swimming in this river. I really want you to personalize this. You might imagine there's a little boat that's come to pick you up and it's going to carry you down the river, whatever is most comfortable. Some people like to be in the river and really feel the energy around them. And you can just choose to put your feet into the river, your hands, or just fully, why not dive in and just let the river sort of carry you? So I want you to imagine surrendering your weight tonight, first to Shakti. And as we approach Shakti, this is a place for us of pure connection to the most pure and most divine maternal energy that you can imagine. And I want you to imagine this river coming and completely surrounding you, almost in an embrace. And so as you connect to the water element, and as you connect to Shakti's energy, I want you to think back to a moment in your life where you felt completely held and nourished and supported and loved and seen and visible. And that could be a moment where you gifted that to yourself. It could have been a time in a relationship where you felt that from a partner. But I want you to go back in your mind to a time and a place where you felt that you were pure activated potential, that anything was possible for you. And if you've never felt that before, I want you to create the image of that in your mind right now. Imagine in this moment. Look at yourself in this moment in your life right now. What would it mean for you to completely embrace every part of who you are? Your creativity, your personality, your body, your soul gifts, your desires. Nothing can be off limits here in Shakti's territory. So no desire, no part of who you are, your personality, your soul. No part of, no matter how extreme you might be, all of your anger is welcome here. All of your sadness is welcome here. All of your frustration, all of your curiosity is welcome here. All of your playfulness is welcome here. Feel those waves come and just completely surround you and help you connect with every single part of who you are. And then in your mind, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine every part of yourself that you have ever rejected, every part of yourself that you have ever repressed, every part of yourself that you have ever denied. And I recognize what I'm asking right now is a lot, because a lot of us have repressed a good deal of who we are and what we love and what we seek and what we desire. Let that stuff bubble up for a minute right here. And Shakti, we need your help here, because for a lot of us, this is very difficult. Society has told us certain things, our partners have told us certain things, our employers have told us certain things, our kids have told us certain things, our parents have told us certain things. Who are we, Shakti, before you? What do you see in us? And as you pull up all of these parts of yourself that you have repressed and denied and not wanted to look at, not wanted to love or embrace, I want you to take a moment to gaze into that river and see it as Shakti's mirror to you tonight. I really want you to see yourself tonight in all of your beauty, all of your power, all of your confusion, all of your anger, all of your sorrow, all of your grief for all of the losses. Breathe through this. Because if you're really doing what we're talking about right now, you're digging somewhere deep in your soul in this moment. And it's so good for you. It's so good for you to find those pockets and those places. And as you gaze into Shakti's mirror that she's holding up for you tonight in a really powerful way, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, and you can do this silently or you can say it out loud, but I want you to make a commitment to yourself tonight that you're going to agree once and for all to accept all of the things that Shakti is showing you in the mirror right now. I'm not saying you have to love those parts right away, but I am saying you have to accept them. Because the next step in healing is moving beyond, moving from that complete acceptance of who you are toward who you want to become. But you can't become who you want to become until you've made peace with who you are. Really look at it, ladies and gentlemen. She's showing you your anger. She's showing you your tears. She's showing you your disappointments. She's showing you broken commitments. I'm just pulling from the energies I've sensed in the room. She's showing you loss and struggle. She's showing you failure, isn't she? But she's showing you all of this to remind you that you persevered through all of that and that you have the power to change all of the circumstances, and it begins with saying, I accept. So quietly, right now, I want you to affirm that you accept. And if you want to take it a step further, you can say, I love everything that you're seeing right now in that mirror. I accept. And now Shakti is going to churn those waters because she's going to show you something else. You just showed her something in a way. Now we're going to ask her to show you what she sees. And so Shakti, we ask you to change this reflecting pool from all of the things that we've had to work so hard to cover up and hide, and repress and ignore, and don't look over here, there's nothing for you to see. All that stuff we've done our whole life. Shakti, tonight we welcome a new vision. We welcome a new vision. And so what I want is for you, and Shakti, I ask that you show each person in this circle their own unique reflection of beauty right now. And I want you to imagine gazing out into the river now. And in this mirror, I want you to see your transformed self, your integrated self, your whole self, all of your beauty, all of your potential, all of your power, all of your possibility, all of your confidence, all of your trust, all of your faith, the things you may have thought that you lost. And Shakti, as you show us this beautiful reflection of our potential as you see it, please help us to anchor that vision in our soul. Help us to anchor that vision in that root chakra that is your wheelhouse. Help us to discover and experience tonight that our beauty is really rooted in our sense of safety and connection to all that is. And so what I want to do right now is I want you to imagine receiving 3 gifts. I think these are the 3 primary gifts that Shakti can offer each of us. And you can choose to sort of pull up the water with your hands. Some people, when we're doing this meditation, like to take the water and imagine drinking it in, like drinking in the gifts. So however you work with that. The first gift that Shakti brings us is beauty. That's her number one gift. Shakti, I want you to give us the gift of beauty tonight. And I'm not talking about someone's face or their body. I'm talking about a beauty that is an echo of the divine. And I want you to take a moment to let your body feel what it's like for you to say to yourself right now, I am beauty. I am beauty. What does that feel like? If you are beauty, where does that go? Do you start to feel differently in your body? Do you start to sit up a little straighter? What is it like for you to feel that you are beauty? That's the first gift that Shakti brings us. The next gift that Shakti brings us is the ability to create and manifest beauty in the world. So take a moment to feel what it really feels like in your body. Because again, transformation happens when you take a thought and you can feel it, okay? When you feel it, that's how you know you've anchored it, you've integrated it. What does it feel like for you to honestly trust and believe that you create beauty in the world? And Shakti, show each person tonight how they do that. How do you create beauty in the world? Is it through beautiful food that you cook? Is it through the way you rub your children's hands at night before they fall asleep? Is it the way you sing? Is it the way you paint? Is it the way you dress? Is it the way you speak to yourself when you're alone? Is it the way you make love to your partner? What is it? How do you create beauty in the world? And what does it feel like in your body to say, I create beauty? It's kind of a fun affirmation, isn't it? I create beauty. It's kind of a fun thing. And men, stay with me because you're creating beauty too. I'm serious. And in fact, there's nothing more beautiful than a man who says, I create beauty. Men and women both have to anchor the divine masculine and feminine within themselves. And how do men create beauty? In many of the same ways that women do. And then the last piece, the last gift that Shakti gives you is the ability to say, I channel beauty. I don't just create it, I actually am it. I allow others to experience beauty through me. Can you try that affirmation? I allow others to experience beauty through me.
I allow others to experience beauty through me.
All we are reflections to each other. So you're already doing it. I just need you to know that you're doing it. And that's the gift that Shakti gives us. I am beautiful. I create beauty. I allow others to experience beauty with me. You want to try it? I am beautiful. I create beauty. I allow others to experience beauty through me.
I allow others to experience beauty through me.
Amen. I hope so it is. Okay, so I'm going to light my Shakti candle. You can light yours if you would like. And I would love, actually, for you to continue this after tonight for the next full cycle until our next full moon. I usually don't give you homework, but this time I'm going to because of how important I think Shakti's energy is. How well you do this month is going to dictate how strong your harvest season is this year. I promise you. If you think it's not connected, it is. Your ability to trust that you create beauty and that you're an open channel for beauty is going to dictate how much you manifest between now and the end of August when the harvest cycle begins. Yeah? You won't believe what can come through you when you believe what we're talking about right now. So Shakti, we light this flame tonight to call in the courage we need through the fire element to connect with you. Help us to believe and to trust and to know that we are beauty, we create beauty, and that others experience beauty through us. Support us when we are discouraged, Shakti. We create space for you to flow freely through our lives tonight. And so with that, we give thanks for your blessing. And honestly, that's all you have to do every day. I am beauty, I create beauty, I allow others to experience beauty through me. Okay. Now Shiva is down the left bank, right? So now we're going down we've been down the right side of the river, we're lifting up from Shakti. And it's beautiful actually because they're such partners. She just sort of she's ready to sort of hand us off to the other half. It's like, okay, so now we have manifested beauty. And we understand that we're divine channels for beauty. Now we have to have the partner piece, which is the consciousness, right? And consciousness in some ways is your anchor. It's your true north, okay? It's taking that beauty and making sure that that beauty has direction. Because beauty without consciousness is what? It becomes frivolous. It's almost like what Western society is, right? It's beauty with no consciousness. Your beauty is only as good to me as your soul. If your soul isn't beautiful, I have no interest in what's going on around here, right? Okay, so Shiva, as we move down the left side of the river, we encounter you with great reverence and gratitude tonight. And Shiva, we come to you for your gifts, which are gifts of pure consciousness. You are the screen onto which the beauty is projected. Without the screen, there's no ability to even see. So Shiva, we ask you tonight to anchor us in a sense of pure and true connection to source energy, to all that is. As you sit in that crown chakra space, you are the one who shows us the way to the truth. And so this is where our work in many ways begins, but also ends with you. And so I want you to imagine just, again, submersing yourself in this beautiful river of Shiva who is surrounding you in protection and connection to God, the divine source, goddess, however you think of the one who breathed life into you. I want you to receive all of that right now. What does it feel like to be completely surrounded, protected, supported, all of your questions answered before you can formulate the question? Complete knowledge and understanding, and that's what the crown chakra offers you. And so Shiva, we come before you tonight and we ask for the gift of that consciousness. We ask that you anchor our beauty in a compass that directs us north always. And so tonight, receiving that gift looks like really asking for support and structure. In some ways, it's asking for a foundation upon which to build the beauty that we seek to create in the world. And Shiva, we ask for your commitment to us this evening to help us constantly return, constantly remember that all the beauty that we create has to be connected to source, or it doesn't have any meaning, doesn't have any direction. And so there are 3 gifts here, just like there were with Shakti. The first gift of Shiva for me is, I am consciousness. I am conscious. And so try that affirmation. I am conscious. I am awake. I'm aware. That is the first step. I'm aware. I'm awake. I'm connected. And you are. You always are. Sometimes we lose our way and we think we've lost that connection. Has that happened to you? You can raise your hand like, where am I? Where is God? Why have you forsaken me? Kind of thing. We all go through that at some point in our lives. And then the second gift Shiva brings us, much like Shakti's second gift, is I create consciousness. I enable consciousness. Because you do. By embodying it, by becoming consciousness, you are also reflecting that out to the collective. And so that's your second mantra. I create consciousness. And then the third gift from Shiva is I become the open channel through which consciousness flows. I become the open channel through which consciousness flows. And truly, if that's all you ever get to in this life, you almost don't need anything else. You know, like every morning, most of us ask to be of service, don't we? And one of the most beautiful ways that we can be of service to each other and to this planet is to be a good open channel for consciousness. You don't have to know what that looks like. That's not your job or your responsibility. You're also not responsible for how other people receive it or experience it. Your job is to just be an open channel. That's Shiva's job. Shiva's job is to work with, because that's the divine, that's not you. We can't possibly hold that in a mortal space. Does that make sense? So, I am consciousness. I create consciousness. I become an open channel to allow consciousness to flow. Conscious beauty, my friends. I don't know about you, but I think if somebody asked me to sum up in 2 words what I want to live, I would say conscious beauty. And hope they understand that by beauty I don't mean anything that you can really see with your human eyes. Yeah? conscious beauty. Okay, so we're going to do a somewhat quick, not super quick, recitation of the Adi Shakti mantra together. Are you ready? And so Shiva, Shakti, these are our offerings to you tonight, this beautiful mantra together. So we're just going to do Adi Shakti. Adi Shakti, first primal power. And this is our offering. Are you ready? Adi Shakti, just say it with me. Adi Shakti, 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 Adi Shakti. And we just take a few seconds for the integration. Now, mantras are prayers. If prayer is a medium that's familiar to you, think of mantras as mini prayers, mini meditations. And if you've never worked with a mala before, it's really important for you to start. And people always say, well, why do you have a mala? Why does it have 108 beads? So that you can keep track and you don't have to look. You know what I mean? It's kind of a beautiful tool. It's like a rosary, or, I'm Greek, like the worry beads, right, that the grandmas had. It's the same thing. Armenians, Greeks, Turkish people all have those in their lineage. Aho. Aho. I bow to primal power. Shiva, Shakti, we're grateful for your presence this evening, for the allowance of the space to help us understand both the screen and the projection, how to create a platform for our evolution, and then how to step onto that platform with courage and with faith. We're so grateful. I'm grateful for each and every one of you for bringing your beauty to the space. Those of you who are online, I wish you could feel what's in the room. Those of you who are in the room, I wish you could feel what's online. I have the feed, and it's very powerful to see people connecting. And then just watching the energies dissipate as Shiva and Shakti exit the space. Give gratitude for everything that we have experienced together tonight. We'll begin to release the energy of the circle. It came to you in your right hand, so you're going to release it from your right hand, let it go widdershins or against the circle, around the circle, counterclockwise. And that energy will return to you in your left hand. And when it does, turn your hand upside down. Imagine sending all the energy that we have raised. It's a beautiful full moon ritual. Why do we do full moon ritual? Because the energy is never more potent. The moon directs everything, including the flow of blood and water in your body. So when she's full, we got to appreciate that. We only get that 12 times a year, 13 times a year. That's why it's so important. You, in a past life, celebrated full moon ritual. Your bones are somewhere, and your bones remember. Your ancestors did this. This is as old as time. So we're just connecting to that stream of consciousness tonight with so much gratitude. Sending all this energy we've raised to Mother Gaia, knowing that she can hold, transform, transmute it, turn it into usable white light. Energy is never created, it's not destroyed. So we just changed form of that energy tonight. We send it back to Gaia with gratitude. Guardians of the gateways to the north, we release you. We're thankful for the wisdom that you have shared with us tonight. Guardians of the western gateway, we release you. Thank you for the emotional healing. So powerful tonight, what's possible for you. We release you, guardians of the southern gateway. We have the courage we need. Thank you for supporting us with the fire element, teaching us that anything that what we need to let go of can always be surrendered in a clean way, in a good way. And guardians of the east, we release you as well. Thank you for the gift of this new beginning. Help us to fly high and see clearly as we move through the next phases of our work together. So it is. Woo! That was yummy, wasn't it? But not as yummy as what's about to happen. If you think Shakti doesn't like to dance, she does. Okay. So a couple things I want to tell you. First of all, if you haven't used your tools to set up an altar in the past, I highly recommend it this time. This needs to be your I'm transforming altar, okay? This needs to be your I'm finally accepting who I am. I'm not going to live in other people's stories of me anymore. But seriously, if that's the one thing you take away from tonight, get out of other people's stories of you. Who cares? Who cares? If they're not blood related to you, you shouldn't care. And honestly, even if they are blood related to you, you shouldn't care. Sorry, but you know what I mean? You got to let go of those narratives. And then the other piece of that is I'm going to choose to look at myself on a different screen now. He's offering you a different screen. Whether you see a new projection is up to you. And if you need help, find an ally who can be a good mirror back to you. You know what I mean? A lot of us girls in the room do that for each other. Find an ally who can be a good mirror to you. And if you are looking for community, I never really mention my classes because I'm not really trying to promote my classes from like a marketing perspective. But I do teach online classes. We do have incredible communities online, very intimate small group communities. And so if you go to sagegoddess.com/register, you will learn about those classes and would love to have you join me. If I do teach next year, it's not going to be like this. Probably not live. So if you want to experience live classes, they're all live, but they're all recorded. But it's kind of a fun way to interact, and I certainly have a very good time with it. Okay, I love that. Someone in the feed said, yep, I left my psycho family. We all have at certain times, haven't we? Or we've at least stopped and said, why did I get that family? Unless you're me. I know exactly why I got my freak show. I know exactly why I got my circus and my monkeys. They are my monkeys. I love my circus and my monkeys. Does it sometimes take a glass of wine to enjoy a holiday with them? It sure does. Just being honest. Okay, I just want to show you. So Jesus and Mary are our focus for July. I can't even tell you how intimidating it was to try and make a perfume for Jesus and Mary. So what we did is we actually did the research into what essential oils would have been available at the time. And one of the oils we know biblically is tied to Mary is spikenard. Both Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. Mother Mary was understood to have used spikenard during childbirth, and Mary Magdalene used spikenard to anoint Jesus' feet. Gives me chills to tell you that. There's a lot of spikenard in Mary, so if you want to know what spikenard smells like, you'll get a sense of spikenard. And then Jesus is the same way. And what's really beautiful is, so if you are a subscriber, some people are subscribers to the kit You're Getting Mary. If you do both sets, bless you, you get a free cross. A beautiful gemstone cross is my gift. I'm doing that now. Did you guys enjoy this? When you get both sets, this month you got a Rudraksha bracelet with sandalwood. By the way, you should wear that all the time. Did you know that Rudraksha beads bring health? They can be used for weight loss. They bring prosperity and abundance. They bring blessings. They are wish fulfillment tools. They're actually the Rudra seeds. The Rudraksha beads are seeds from the Rudra tree, which is considered to be holy to Shiva, which is why we chose that for you. But because Shiva is the overcomer, those beads can be used to overcome any obstacle. So they're the little brown. It's hard, they almost look like little like little seeds or something. I mean, they are seeds, but anyway, these have, and they're not all Rudraksha beads are created equal. So these you want ones that have a ton of little markings. I can pass it around so you can see. You want ones that have a ton of little markings, because when they only have a few, it's almost like not as many blessings. I don't want that. If I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right. I think they are. I'm not exactly sure. But if you're interested, we'll help you find. You need a Rudraksha bead of some kind. If you want to go to the next level, Rudraksha bead mala. That's like the next level. Okay. We're going to stay online for a few more minutes if you guys have to go. If anyone in the room has to go, yes. Yes. That's a really good question. I would either do it right in the center of a room or maybe to the northeast quadrant of a room. So you can either do feng shui for a room or a home. It's kind of the same rules. So some people do their whole house, and some people just do a room, like a sacred room, and then they look at the directions in that room. So I would either do it center or northeast for the placement of that altar for transformation. Totally, yeah. And actually, this would be a fantastic bedroom altar. Yeah, a fantastic bedroom altar. And one of the things you can do with tanzanite, it's one of the most powerful third eye stones you will ever work with, is when you're doing, light your candle, lay down, and put this right on your third eye. You'll start to see things. Tanzanite is crazy. It is so crazy. If you actually start to research tanzanite and how rare it is and where it comes from, all those mines are on sacred ground in Africa. It's a very powerful stone. So use this one in that meditation for sure. And I would say a minute a day. I am beauty, I create beauty, I am an open channel for beauty to come forth. I am consciousness, I create consciousness, I am an open channel for consciousness to be created. If you do that, I promise you, the blessings in your life that you will see, because what you're asking is to be of service, and you're asking to be a reflecting pool. And that's exactly why you're on this planet at this time. And when the universe sees you doing that, which is you're gifting something to the universe, it gifts you back. You shouldn't do it with that intention in mind. I don't think any of you would, but I'm just telling you we'll all come back to you. Thank you for asking that question, by the way. That was a really good question, because I want you guys to carry the work through. So Jackie Wong, darling. Yes?
For how long did you light the candle every day?
That's a great. So here's a question. She's asking, how long do you light the candle? I have 2 kids, and I do this. So I have about -5 minutes a day to myself, okay? So I would say just a minute in the morning. Sometimes that's all I have. And when I'm trying to do consistent work, I leave everything on my nightstand within reach from bed. Because if once I get out of bed, I don't know about you, but all of a sudden it's like mama and this and the phone and the thing. So if while I'm in bed, that is sacred time, because people think I'm asleep. So you grab your candle, you light it, you stick the tanzanite. I am beauty, I create beauty, I have an open shoe, and that's it. If you have an hour a day, that would be awesome. So I would say. My thing is you got to make magic work for you. The key is consistency and no doubt. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to light your candle every day, and something is going to happen to you this month, potentially. I hope it doesn't, but it could. I'm just preparing you to knock you off kilter. make you doubt your beauty, make you doubt your consciousness, make you doubt your thing. That's just an invitation for you to go deeper into that work and say, I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly what energy streams I serve. And I'm going to choose to work with my new narrative on this screen, and I welcome you to join me in that new narrative. Or go. I posted something on my personal page the other day, and it was a quote, and I loved it so much. And I think if somebody saw it and remembers it better than I'm getting old and I'm in menopause and my memory's going. It was something like, we must do what we must do. And people will either come around or stop coming around. Either way, lovely. I love it. They're either going to come around, they're going to stop coming around. Lovely. That is free will. I'm going to keep coming around, but I don't really need anybody else to come around. You know what I mean? Like, and if you can get to that place in your life, you're actually going to expand and create more abundance when you're not afraid of trying to hold on to things that aren't yours. Do you know what I mean? And that's all part of this. That's what I'm saying. Tonight's ritual, it may end up being, in hindsight, one of the most important ones for you of the whole year. Because this is getting to the core of who you are and how you want to live your life. And for a lot of us, we know we're halfway through. So there's no more joking around, do you know? Or you're more than halfway through, or you're a third of the way through. But do you really have time to mess around anymore? I don't think you do. And a lot of us are being called to high service right now. And a lot of us are answering that call in a profound way. So I encourage you to step up and step into that vision, because you all have the potential. I feel it. I literally can feel the potential energetically in each one of you in this room. I have made contact energetically with every single person in this room tonight, and your pure potential. It's almost like I just want to, like, you know, when you you've taken care of a bird and you put them outside. Have you ever done that? I've rehabbed birds, and you just when they start to fly, it's just like this, like, you know. Like, that's what I feel like with everybody in the room right now. Like, when you go outside and you just, it takes off from there. So I've taken you to this point. The rest of the work is up to you. But I trust that you're taking it exactly where it needs to go. So I honor you tonight from that place. I bow to you. But now, we gonna dance. Jackie Wong is my belly dance teacher. She's a goddess. She's the embodiment of Shakti herself. And we're just going to dance for a couple of minutes. So if you want to hang out, you can. If you have to go, I totally understand that too. So people in the room, if you need to go, you can go. People online, if you need to go, you can go. Or you can shake it for a couple minutes, which might. And I actually think part of it is we've been in our head and our chakra, you know, our upper chakras right now. We need to get back into our body, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's where your beauty and your power gets anchored. If you're not in your body, that leads to a whole other host of problems. So Jackie, what do you think about shaking it right here so people on camera can see you? I can move this chair. I think we should. I willingly cede my stage to the goddess. I will play your music. Or I can connect it to the thing. What song are you using? Maybe I have it. Oh, you have Drama Queen.
It's slow.
Okay. I'm going to go do that. Let's just plug it into the back of it, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you did it before?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to play some music. Yep, the camera's right on top of the monitor. Woo! Did I do it right? I'm having trouble getting your music going, Jackie. You may know how to connect that better than I do. Yeah. I'm going to take mine off. Here we go.
love this. This is so awesome.
It's so good.
And then chest circle. Going to hip circle.
Woo!
Bring up the energy. Switch arms.
So good.